Start streaming. Okay, let's see here. Video device. And we'll monitor the stream from here, from cell phone. Otherwise, we'll monitor the stream from here. Otherwise, my computer's going to keep crashing. Okay, hello. Computer crashed. Okay. There you go. So we have the chat. I'll be monitoring the chat from the cell phone. And I'll be finishing my coffee and then recording the body count report before I hear Reveille. I got to be heading out the door at Reveille. So, and if you're not familiar with what Reveille is, it's that song that goes. As a military. Oh, veteran. Okay. So here we go. We are back at it. We're back at the news. This is kind of a funny story. Let's go ahead and open a link in new tab here to take a look at some of the other stuff going on in the world. Okay. So they have a serious slave trade issue in Africa. That's kind of one of the reasons why I've always hated the American association of like, yes, Americans shouldn't refer to slavery because of what happened in America 100 years ago, or 150 years ago. And it's frustrating because when you look at slavery as a thing that happened to one group of people, or as a thing that has happened and is not happening anymore, you lose sight of the fact that slavery is still happening. Literally, like, people being sold from one group of people to another is still happening in the world, which is horrifying. And the more we talk about slavery that's not happening as if that's the be-all, end-all of slavery, the more we ignore real, actual, happening now slavery. It's just as real as slavery was in the United States. You know, Jamestown slave trade, auction block slavery, it's just as real as that was back then, is still happening now. And if we don't acknowledge that, and we just sort of live in the past going, slavery sure was bad, you know, whites need to be ashamed of that slavery that happened in the past. They need to be ashamed of that. We're completely missing out on the fact that slavery is a blight on humanity, and it's still happening. So we need to focus, people. Focus, people. Human life, human rights are at threat every day, and if we live in the past, we're going to miss out on what's actually happening around us. Okay. Let's see here. Latest news. Maina is an American citizen too, says immigration boss. Davido wins Best African. Buhari pledged to airlift Nigerians back. Oh, okay, here we go. Okay. Excuse me. Sheesh. This is a scary situation. I don't know what we're looking at here. A repeating part of it. Oh, it must have been horrifying for those guys. Okay. Okay. So here we go. Okay. Where should we start, huh? Wow, okay. Okay. All right. Okay, so this is a Let's go ahead and pull up a browser with a Gmail in it so I can compile the body count report. But yeah, this is hello, Earthbound Dark Snipe. What's up? Awesome. I think I posted in Chris's forum about Patreons. So I was wondering if you had a Patreon. I was wanting to do like a dollar for dollar with some of the Finargle McGargle cult followers like us. Okay. Let's see here. What do we got going on here? We got we got to do sent drafts. Okay, where do I keep this stuff? Here we go. Okay. Now I am officially compiling the body count report link list because I have achieved the exact amount of news that I need to fill up a full episode comfortably. Okay. Now, Kenya. Oh my gosh, excuse me. Oh, no Patreon. Okay, well, I guess get working on that, bro. Like that's it. That's it's not too crazy hard to set up. You can check out my setup at patreon.com. Here, let me type it in here. Patreon.com/antisocial news. All one word, no dash. For an example. LOL. There we go. Okay, now that's up there. Okay, Kenya elections. Body count is greater than 40. Well, I think 40 plus is the best way to write that. And then we'll link to some articles here. Okay. So let's take a look at this. Wait a minute, stop that. Open in new tab. And then we have okay, link in new tab. Okay. So okay. So here's what we have to Oh my gosh, I have so many tabs open. Okay. Oh damn, it's 3:14 a.m. for you? Okay, good night. Thank you for jumping in. Excuse me. Trying to find this picture of protesting in Kenya that I saw yesterday that was pretty funny. It was not a protester. It was a guy holding a machete.
Elizabeth Kadzo's two sons were recently killed by unknown people. They lived inside Boni, a forest that extends to the border with Somalia. The home area of Witu, as well as other parts of Lamu along the Kenyan coast, have been attacked several times over the last few years.
We stayed home that night instead of going back to the camp for displaced people. One of my sons was not well, and so we all decided to be with him. We were attacked at around 8 p.m.
Two other people were killed on that night in this village. The government has often blamed Somalia's Al-Shabaab fighters who've been using the forest as a hideout to plan attacks and train Kenyan recruits, but also increasingly conflict between farmers and herders living inside the forest.
One of Elizabeth Kadzo's sons was in that house when the attackers came. The other one was right out there. There was also a friend in the compound. Their mother was preparing to sleep in the next house. She says that the attackers targeted the men, they slit their throats, and then fled.
The main supply routes to...
This Lamu County administrative leader shows us some of the trouble areas. He says a security operation has forced Al-Shabaab out of the vast forest.
All the routes which they were using and all possible routes which they can use have been sealed. Yes. And their movement has seriously been cut. They don't move freely like in the past. No, they cannot.
The government now wants more than 2,000 people who have been living in these temporary shelters on the edge of the forest to go back home. Life is tough for them here. They have little food and a bedbug infestation, but they say going back right now is not an option.
It's true the government has pushed out Al-Shabaab, but what we fear even more than Al-Shabaab are the herders in the forest. They're the ones who've been killing our people lately. They're the ones who should be dealt with before we go back.
Agnes Kubau also lives in the camp. This is the first time in 3 months that she and Hassan have come back to check on their home. They don't have much time. They tell us they have to go back to the camp before nightfall when it gets dangerous. Catherine Son, Al Jazeera, Witu, Southern.
Okay. Okay. Okay, I think I'm ready to start the body count report. And with that, I'm gonna go ahead and. Oh no, you know what? I can keep streaming while I do this. Yeah, why not? Why not? All right. All right, there we go. Perfect lighting. Hey, this is Sully for Antisocial News, and this is the Body Count Report for Thursday, November the 30th, 2017. And I'm going to take you around the world showing you situations of tragedy and of victory around the world. It's mostly tragedy today. A lot of soul-crushing news. And we're going to start with Kenya. We're going to start with Kenya here. We've got interesting story here about people who fled the Al-Shabaab network, which, if you're not familiar with the Al-Shabaab group, that's kind of like Boko Haram or the Islamic State or Malte. It's a militant Sunni Muslim terrorist organization. But more similar to Boko Haram, these people weren't just fleeing from the terrorists, they were fleeing from herdsmen, a group not necessarily associated with the Al-Shabaab network, but just as violent to the local people, and basically would use the confusion of there being terrorists in the area to allow them to go do terrorist attacks on people that would infringe on the expansion of their herding land. So check out the video in this page. It's if you can watch it and understand the similarities between this and what's happening in Nigeria with the Fulani herdsmen, check it out. Also, I wanted to talk about another story from Kenya, which was the election, which I'm going to provide just a straight up link to Google about the people who've died. I did a very specific search about NASA, which is the opposition party in Kenya, and the violence since the August 8th election. And some of these stories are from August. So here's a story from August 12th, August 13th, and then by October 16th, so a month later, 33 people have been killed by police after the August 8th election. And then 5 killed just a few days ago as Kenyan police and Odinga clash in Nairobi. So this election has been very violent, very wild. And it's a scary situation there. Check the story out. Check out the pictures. Check out the videos. Some decent reporting here from Al Jazeera and even CNN. Got to give them props. They covered that story very well. All right, so let's move on to Nigeria. Nigeria is a newsmaker at the moment because of Nigerians. Nigeria flies nationals home from Libya after slave sale report. Federal Republic of Nigeria. So check this story out. It's pretty disturbing, and as I've stated, it's slavery is not something in the past. It's something that's going on right now. Here's another. This is Vanguard Nigeria reporting the same story from a more Nigeria-specific perspective. So check out the pictures. And here is Al Jazeera reporting on the story here as well. More from the Umma perspective. These are pictures from within Libya, I believe. So, yeah, this is human trafficking, illegal immigration, violence against women. This story is about everything that Americans talk about, but I don't think Americans, when we focus on America and what America thinks slavery is, which is something that happened in the past and was really wrong, we ignore the fact that it's actually happening now and it's still just as wrong. So this is like auction block slavery in Jamestown. That's what's happening now in Africa. So we need to stop associating slavery with the past and realize that it's still happening, and we need to be fighting it and contesting it now. And I think it's important to bring attention to the subject so that the world can stand up and speak out against the slavery happening now. It's important to be able to look in the past and say that was bad. Slavery was bad, especially in America. Slavery was horrible. But that should never stop us from pointing out the slavery that is happening now and the death of immigrants and of slaves in Africa and around the world. Southeast Asia, Eastern Europe, there's places where people are dying in canisters being transported from one place to another. They're dying in some Arab countries because they were illegally transported there, and now their owners essentially won't let them leave, and they're jumping off of balconies. It's something that's happening now. We cannot look at slavery as something from the past that was bad. It is something that is constant that is bad. All right, that was my piece on slavery. Let's move on. Check out the links. Thank you for the good reporting. Al Jazeera, Vanguard Nigeria, and AfricaNews.com. Moving on. Okay. You know what? I'm going to save this. It's a good story. Save it till the very, very end. 4 killed in Pakistan in suspected U.S. drone strike on Haqqani network. Check this out. We are seeing a rise in Taliban violence, and the Islamic State, Taliban, are basically working together to be, well, they're competing, but they're essentially working together to terrorize the world. And here is a follow-up to the Hafiz Saeed story, where the U.S. is speaking out against the release of Hafiz Saeed, which is good. Everyone should be speaking out against the release of Hafiz Saeed. Should he be who I proscribe next? I think so. Maybe. We'll see. We'll wait till Monday, my weekly fatwa. Okay, moving on. Thank you for the good reporting. Times of India on the 4 killed in Pakistan in suspected U.S. drone strike, and U.S. speaking out against Hafiz Saeed's release. If you're not familiar, Hafiz Saeed is the apparent mastermind behind the Mumbai terror attacks, which, as a Chabadnik, was very upsetting. Actually killed a Chabad rabbi and his family, and dozens of Indian people. And that is reveille. I needed to be done by now. All right. Sereno formed illegal office. Oh, you know what? Why do I still have that up? I got distracted by that. Rights for workers. Human rights worker. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh my gosh, I have so many tabs open. Okay. Oh my gosh. So much friggin' news. So many follow-ups here. And here I was distracted temporarily by the political conflict in oh wow. Okay, I'm gonna have to do another rundown here because I am getting distracted. Also, I'm gonna have to compile this link list because I have way too many tabs open, and everything is gonna crash very shortly, very very shortly. Okay. Let's see here. Oh my gosh. Okay. So thank you, Omid. Feel free to post a link, see if it shows up. It should alert me if it doesn't show up there. So this is okay. Okay, Guatemala. Elections in Guatemala. Body count NA. NA at the moment. There has been sketchy reports of armed men floating around there in various spots being sketchy. So it's a concerning situation for a lot of people. Okay. Israel. Okay, there we go. We are compiling the link list. Link list. So I can properly give the news. Okay. Should I show the news story I was distracted by? No. Okay. So, I'm going to go ahead and stop this. Boop. Philippines. Regional conflicts. Body count. Okay. Now, I actually showed this story from another Filipino source yesterday, so it actually made it into the body count report list, but it didn't make it into Rohingya crisis. Okay. Funker. Let's see here. Oh no, why is Gun Sully up there? Where did Gun Sully come from? That's cute though. I like that. Okay. Oh my gosh, sorry I'm not being very entertaining. When I get to the point where I've been doing this for too long and I need to get to work, I get a little distracted. Distracted. Okay. Okay. So let's see here. Free Balochistan ad. Is this what Omid was talking about? Omid? free Balochistan ad. All right, you said go to Bunker 530. Oh, Funker 530. Funker 530. You know, I've got to, before I go to some website I don't know, let me kill a few browsers. Just a few. Okay, I think we have what we're going to be talking about here. So we got to do a follow-up to Hafiz Saeed. Follow-up. Oh, this should go before that story. Okay, there we go. And moving on. Oh, this is the good news out of Sierra Leone. Let's go ahead and move this all the way to the end, because I want to talk about that at the very end of this. The very end of everything, I want to talk about this story. Sierra Leone. Okay. Let's take a look. Boy, I'm so afraid to open another browser. How many people died of polio? Worldwide. 16 million people. Okay. Okay. Let's take a look here. Okay, we'll just go ahead and put countless, because we're not seeing a clear number, and but this is an awesome story because it's about people coming together, about a charitable organization working of the people, by the people, working with them. Okay. Excuse me. So burpy. Okay. Um. Okay. Um. Okay. Okay. There we go. Whoops. Okay. Kenya. Did I already start this? I already started this one. I started this in the. Okay. Okay, so let me grab this one. I've already done the math on this one. 40 plus body count. Kenya elections. Okay, moving down here. Okay. Okay. I think I'm about done with my coffee. See, that stevia is really good. Steeping your coffee in stevia is really good. I would encourage people to do it. Okay. Let's do this again. Let's kill Gun Solly. I don't know what he's doing up there. All right. Let's kill that audio coming in from there. So we only have this audio. And then we're going to go ahead and let's set this. Okay. Hey, this is Sully for Antisocial News, and this is the Body Count Report for Thursday, November the 30th, 2017. And I am going to be taking you around the world showing you situations of tragedy and victory for humanity. Only life or death situations, only legitimate news. I do not focus on political pieces, only real news, stuff that actually affects people. And one of these big situations in our hemisphere, in the Western Hemisphere, not the Northern Hemisphere, there is a hotly contested election in Guatemala. So check this story out. Link in the description. We have Hernandez versus Nasrallah, and I was really interested into seeing how a Nasrallah is running for election in Guatemala. Even though it rhymes with Guatemala, that is not a Spanish name. And it is not a native name either. It is a Arabic name. So I'm also including a Wikipedia on Salvador Nasrallah, so you can read up on him. He is of Palestinian descent, and he is part of the opposition party, the Anti-Corruption Party. So he might be a great guy, but we'll see after this election, which is, when I say hotly contested, I mean 42.21% to 42.11%, with 82% reporting. So this is going to be a very, 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 very tight election. Which, if you can tell by this picture of this fellow with the fire and covering his face and the police out there, this election is going to be a life or death situation for a lot of people. Moving on, we have a report from the Jerusalem Post of a Palestinian shot after clashing with Israelis in the West Bank. See the video here. Jerusalem Post reporting. I also have the same story reported from Ynet News. Palestinian shot dead after Israeli students attacked, IDF says. So Ynet News as well, video and reporting. There's been some clashes and some very interesting remarks from the U.S. coming out of recent situations in Israel. Check the links in the description of this video for more on that. Moving on, we have some very interesting stories out of the regions in the Philippines. A human rights worker was killed in a Negros ambush. So very scary situation. And for the people involved, sorry for the loss. That's horrifying. Thought of going there just to try to help and getting murdered by so by local political leaders or criminals, and it's a very scary situation. Check the link in the description for that convoluted and tragic story. Moving on to another interesting situation in the Philippines, in the southern portion of the country, Zamboanga City. Security forces have arrested an alleged Abu Sayyaf group, ASG bandit, tagged as bomber by the military, following a tip from a civilian in Basilan. Officials said Rahim Abdul, alias Aman Kabalu, was nabbed in Barangay Kampurna in Isabela City. On Tuesday afternoon, a fragmentation grenade was discovered from Abdul, according to Army Captain Joanne Petinglay, spokesman for the Western Mindanao Command. Brigadier General Juvimax Uy, Joint Task Force Basilan Commander, said Abdul has 1.3 million peso reward for his capture. Officials did not say whether Abdul was involved in bombing in Basilan or in other parts of Mindanao. Al Jacinto. Okay, thank you for the reporting, Al. And we're going to move on to another story. Abu Sayyaf group rebels are bad guys. Or not rebels, but pirates. If you don't know Abu Sayyaf group is, I don't know what rock you've been living under, but they are a pirate outfit that thinks they are holy warriors for Islam, and all they do is run around the southern Philippines, kidnapping people and holding them for hostage, and predominantly Muslims. So all they're doing is extorting other Muslims out of their Hajj money, and then they go, yes, we are part of the caliphate. They're just pirates, which is why they refer to them as bandits in Manila Times, and I love that. I love you, Manila Times. Keep demeaning these disgusting savages. And long live the AFP, the PNP, and death to Abu Sayyaf. Moving on, we have the NPA rebels killed in Batangas clash. So in Batangas, 15 alleged members of the Communist New People's Army were killed, while 3 others. You know what? Let's get our picture up there. There we go. Batangas, 15 alleged members of the Communist New People's Army were killed, while 3 others wounded in 2 separate encounters with government troops in Nasugbu town on Tuesday night. Batangas Police Director, Senior Superintendent Alden Delvo, said joint elements of the 730th Combat Group of the Philippine Air Force, Batangas, and Nasugbu Police acted on phone call reporting that armed men were seen in Sitio Pinamintasan in Barangay Aya, reporting government troops upon approaching the area were fired upon by rebels who were on board a jeepney and a van about 8:30 p.m. 5 rebels were killed on site, while 3 were wounded in a 20-minute gun battle. Holy crap. They were brought to the hospital where one expired, and where the rest were declared dead. Holy crap. And I'm not going to read the rest of this. I want you all to follow the link. Manila Times is the best reporting on the NPA conflict. So read the rest of the conflict. That wasn't 15. We didn't just kill 15 NPA there. There's still a whole nother story to read. So check that out. Incredible reporting, Manila Times. Thank you so much for the details. And we're going to move on to a very interesting story about the war on drugs and some of the leadership in the autonomous region of Muslim Mindanao. Respected former jihadist group, Moro Islamic Liberation Front member, busted with $2.5 million worth of shabu. I could be wrong, but I believe that is about $50,000 to $100,000 American. And having, if you can imagine having $50,000 to $100,000 of drugs and methamphetamines on you, that's pretty bad. You're clearly somebody who's dealing that stuff, heavily involved in it. So that's a bad situation there for the autonomous region of Muslim Mindanao. And also, amphetamines are deadly, dangerous things. The war on drugs is a human struggle. Whether we want to condemn the actions of the government for their extrajudicial killings and encouraging, and Duterte's encouraging of vigilantism, we still need to remember that that this is a real struggle against addiction in the world. And shabu, or methamphetamines, is incredibly dangerous. So the fact that a Muslim leader or a Muslim member of MILF was trafficking in drugs is very unnerving. All right, we're going to move on to a follow-up on the Rohingya situation, which is sort of interesting. Who is the Pope? Asked Rohingya refugee in Bangladesh. There's a big deal made out of the Pope going to visit Myanmar, it's a very interesting situation that people think that this is going to mean so much to the Rohingyas when the Rohingyas don't. They were a violent separatist group. They very specifically separated themselves from society, spoke their own language, had their own military, and their own laws, their own religion in their region, very much were their own autonomous thing. They don't interact with the world. The Pope essentially means nothing to them. So the fact that, the world is like, oh, good, the Pope's there. This nomadic group of separatists doesn't really care. And very interesting story. I'm hoping we can see more of a resolution on the Rohingya thing and see, now that the eyes of the world are on Myanmar, I would like to see the people resettled in Myanmar with a greater understanding of the community, because they were a violent separatist group. A lot of people don't want to acknowledge that, but they were themselves committing acts of violence against their neighbors. They were not a peaceful group. There's a militant element within the Rohingyas that was killing their neighbors and attacking the government. The government of Myanmar was able to fight back. Their Hindu neighbors were not. So there's mass graves of people that they have filled, and now the Myanmar government striking back at them caused them to just up and move, because they are a nomadic religious separatist group, which they had the ability to get up and move, so they did. and they wound up in Bangladesh, and Bangladesh is trying to say, hey, we're a country too. Stop illegally immigrating into our country. And Bangladesh even allegedly sunk one of their ships little boats that they were taking to cross into Bangladesh because they were trying to stop the people from coming in. It's a very convoluted situation. Now the eyes of the world are on Myanmar, and Myanmar's trying to say, hey, we're going to take care of you. But this group doesn't want to be taken care of. They want to be 100% autonomous, violently autonomous, and follow their own, sort of like an Amish version of Islam, where like they separate from everyone and follow their own laws. So we're not talking Islam like Dubai or Islam like Saudi Arabia that interacts with other people. We're talking about Islam sort of like the way the Amish in America are, like a Christian group that separate themselves. That's kind of what the Rohingya are in their region. So we're going to move on from that. Interesting follow-up to that story. Check the link in the description. In Times of India reporting. More Times of India. Gunmen attack Shia Imam Barga in Pakistan and kill 2. So we are seeing more violence here in Pakistan, and it's being answered by U.S. violence against the Haqqani network and Taliban. Basically, in Pakistan and Afghanistan, you're seeing violence against Shia and other groups by the Sunni terrorists, the Mujahideen, and the Mujahideen and the Islamic State. So we've been seeing a rise in this violence as they've been competing with each other on who can be more disgusting. Speaking of disgusting terrorists, we have Hafiz Saeed, the apparent mastermind of the Mumbai terror attacks, has been released from prison by Pakistan right before the 9th anniversary of the Mumbai terror attacks, which happened on 11/26/2008. And Hafiz Saeed's release flies in the face of Pakistan's claim on fighting terrorism, says U.S. official, which is good. I'm glad the U.S. is speaking out on this, because terrorism is a blight on humanity. It's not just an Arab problem or a Muslim problem or a Pakistani problem. It's a human problem, and the fact that Pakistan has shown that they embrace that problem and say, no, we accept it, we like it. We like Hafiz Saeed. We don't care how connected he is to terrorist organizations that wiped out a rabbi and his family, or killed dozens of Indians. We don't care. We like Hafiz Saeed, says Pakistan. Disgusting. Act like a country, Pakistan. Moving on, we have slavery in the news. Nigeria flies nationals home from Libya after slave sale report. Check this story out. Africa News reporting. I have it from 3 sides here. Africa News from Vanguard Nigeria. Buhari pledged to airlift Nigerians in Libya back home. So good reporting there from Vanguard Nigeria. And then Al Jazeera reporting from the Maghreb. African refugees bought, sold, and murdered in Libya. So we're going to be following this story more. Check out this this reporting from Al Jazeera. It's very harsh and just on the ground reporting. Very good job, Al Jazeera. A lot of pictures, and it is one of the things that I've stated for quite a while is that in America we talk about slavery as if it's something that happened and was bad. And we don't talk about it here in America as something that happened and is happening and is bad, which is how we should be talking about it. We focus on slavery in America from 150 years ago, and that defines slavery. If you said slavery in America, that's what everybody thinks of. They think of Jamestown auction block slave trade. They do not think of the human trafficking and violent slave trade that is going on right now in Africa, Asia, Eastern Europe, even in the Western Hemisphere, with the illegal immigrants being smuggled over in trucks and dying in transit because they're being basically held captive by coyotes. This is a situation going on now, right now in the world. This isn't in the past. This is now, and this is humanity versus inhumanity. And thank you, Al Jazeera, Vanguard Nigeria, and African News for drawing attention to it. Moving on, I'm going to talk about the Kenya election. I've posted a link here to NASA killed in Kenya since August 8th. So check that Google search for interesting links. Also, I've posted a few in here. This is basically the Kenya election on August 8th was hotly contested, and the NASA, or the opposition party, which was trying to stand up against what they were saying was the corruption of Kenyatta and his regime, have been clashing with authorities, and there's been dozens killed. I'd put a rough count at 40 plus killed in the conflict. And some of these stories are from August. This one's from October. By October 16th, 33 people killed by police after the August 8th poll. So check these links, check the stories. They go into some detail. There's a list of names in this one from the Daily Nation, nation.co.ke. Incredible reporting from that Kenyan outlet. And then CNN reporting just a couple weeks ago, 5 killed as Kenyan police Odinga supporters clash in Nairobi. So this situation has killed dozens of people. So check out the links in the description of this video to learn more about the Kenya election and the NASA opposition, the National Super Alliance. Another story out of Kenya, which really sounds like the situation that we're dealing with in northern Nigeria with the Fulani herdsmen murdering people in Boko Haram's territory and getting away with it, basically because Boko Haram gets associated with all violence in the region. And really it's just done by local herdsmen. So this story talks about almost the exact same situation where these people fled the Al-Shabaab network, and when they said, okay, the Al-Shabaab is dealt with, you can go back home, and they're like, no, we were being murdered by herdsmen. So it's just too reminiscent, it's too freaky that this is like the exact same story but out of Kenya. So they need to I don't know, we need to be more aware of these regional conflicts as just as much a conflict with good versus evil as the terrorists, and help these people live their lives by condemning regional violence by herdsmen. They're not herdsmen. They're violent terrorists. They're thugs. You know, you build 1,000,000 bridges, you kill one man. They don't call you a bridge builder anymore. They call you a murderer. You lead 1,000 cattle around. You kill one. You kill one mosque full of people and chase a village out. You're no longer a herdsman. You're a terrorist. So I would very much like for Nigeria to call a spade on that one, as well as the people in Kenya. And I'm glad Al Jazeera is reporting on this. Thank you, Al Jazeera, for bringing light to this horrifying situation. Moving on to Awoko reporting out of Sierra Leone. News: Rotary raises $1 billion for polio eradication. This is a nice story I wanted to end on. This is a fraternal charitable organization or a public organization, however you want, a professional club, however you want to look at Rotary, coming together, and they're made up of people from all around the world, all races, all religions, coming together and raising money to end a horrible disease, and that's just awesome. So thank you for this incredible reporting. I pointed out Sierra Leone loves the Rotary, so I'm guessing they are a very active member, because this is the second shout out to the Rotary I've noticed in Awoko. So I think that's awesome, and I love seeing a community organization be taken, be welcomed so much. So that being the case, I'm going to end this episode with that good story of humanity versus disease, and people coming together to fight this enemy of polio. If I have enlightened you to any news story that you didn't know about, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And if you want to see more news content like this, please consider becoming a patron. Link to the Patreon is in the description below. And thank you so much for tuning in. This is Sully for Antisocial News Body Count Report for Thursday, November 2017. Stay safe. Holy crap. That was quite a big episode. Holy crapola. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh gosh, that was it. Let me set this uploading. Jiminy Christmas. I am like so ready to get out the door and start working. Okay. Oh no. Shoot. Stop recording. Well, it may be full size. We'll see. We'll see if this is a full size video or not. Hope it is. I hope it is. 'Cause I don't want to have to re-record anything. I just recorded like a freaking 20-minute video. It feels like a 20-minute video.
Right.